As the movie begins, a pregnant woman named Natalia is shown. Then it will be time for her delivery. Elena, the mother of Natalia, is also present. Natalia's condition is beginning to cause her discomfort, and her mother takes her to the hospital immediately. Due to the late hour, the majority of doctors are absent. However, a nurse is treating her. Now Natalia gives birth to a child. When they see the infant, however, they are all shocked and concerned. Because everything I witnessed was incredible. Because the baby begins to fly. Natalia is also astonished. She then informs her mother that an angel baby has been born in their home. Natalia's mother, being knowledgeable and seasoned, recognizes that he is not typical. And it is true, as the baby was born without gravity. They are unprotected individuals, therefore, they should leave the hospital. Despite what the nurse says, it is not yet time for their discharge. But they ignore her when they arrive at their home. Natalia's mother asks her a peculiar question as she enters the house. She asks that you remember the child's guardian, but Natalia is unable to recall the child's guardian. Then her mother informs us that this child is not normal and that we must keep it a secret. And we can face a lot of difficulties if someone knows about it. Then they choose the child's name, which is Oscar. And Oscar was, in reality, an uncommon child. Because his fostering was not easy. He used to stick to the ceiling for a long time, as they left him alone. His grandmother makes the different straps for him to keep that child on the ground. They also make the ceiling pulpy and feathery so the child may not get harm. Because they had fears if they leave him outside alone, he will go to the space flying in the air. So they are very careful about Oscar. His mother and grandmother take good care of him. Oscar starts growing with the passage of time. But he remains in the house. His grandma does not allow him to go outside. He used to watch the cartoons about Superman living at home. He also used to imagine being a superhero. Then Oscar asks his mother, Natalia, many times, why do they not allow me to go outside? They, however, ignore it. Oscar sees people through the window, including kids like him who are on their way to school. And he used to look at the playing kids with longing eyes, longing for an independent life. He thinks he will perhaps be imprisoned here forever. Then, one day, Oscar tries to escape through the window, irritated by the confinement of the house. But his grandmother is furious at seeing him. Observing all action, grandmother seals all windows. And she guides Oscar so that he will never go outside the house like the school-going kids. And he will read about living at home. Hearing it, Oscar's mother got angry. And she says, how much time will we keep him in imprisonment? He will go outside at some point. Then Oscar's mother brings a jacket for him, keeping the 2 stones in its pockets, so that he may not fly. She takes Oscar outside, ignoring her mother. Moreover, she asks her not to tell the secret to anyone like Superman, or else he will not be a Superman. Once Oscar goes with his mother for the purchase of goods, he collides with a young girl. That little girl's name is Agata. Agata's goods have fallen from her hands. She shouts at Oscar, handing him 2 water bottles. She says, it is your punishment to leave these bottles at my house. But Oscar refuses it. But Oscar agrees with Agata's insistence. And he goes with that little girl without telling his mother. Now 2 heavy bottles are in the hands of Oscar, and stones are also in his pockets. As a result, he is feeling slightly overweight. So he drops the 2 stones, getting them out of his pocket. His friendship is developing with Agata now. Reaching her home, Agata asks for the water bottles. But Oscar refuses to return the water bottles. Because he knows that he will start flying in the air if the bottles are returned. Agata is immature, so she snatches the water bottles from Oscar. As she takes water bottles from Oscar, he starts flying in the air. That place is bound by its surroundings, so Oscar does not fly too high. Agata is left astonished seeing it and calls her Superman while shouting. Oscar asks for help from her. Hearing it, Agata immediately goes into her house and brings her a pink bag filled with stones. It was a good idea of theirs that he would put these stones in his pocket. Their plan is successful, and Oscar descends. Then they become best friends. Then Oscar says to Agata, promise me? You will keep it secret. On the other side, mother and grandmother are worried because of Oscar's disappearance. They search for him enough, and they think it is as if he has flown in the air. His mother finds the stones that have fallen on the ground, which she has put in his pocket. Then Oscar returns to the house with the given bag of agata and tells his mother about agata. Then his mother asks, "Have you told your secret to her somewhere?" But he tells a lie, saying that I did not tell. Then Oscar and Agata continue to meet with each other for many days. Then one day Oscar's mother came to know that Agata was aware of this secret. His mother forbade him from meeting Agata after that day. Agata used to come to Oscar's house but is returned at the doorstep by Natalia. Then they become suspicious in the eyes of the people in their surroundings. They felt that Oscar's mother and grandmother mistreated him. So they don't allow him to come outside. And he also does not go to school. They report it to the police, and the police arrive at their house the next day, warning them to send Oscar to school. And they had to send Oscar to school under pressure. Then Oscar's mother goes to school with him. They are certain that Oscar will never be able to live a normal life. As they bring Oscar closer, their eyes well up with, and many people will write books about him. But his mother does not desire such a thing. But as his mother explains, it will not happen. She thinks of losing him if the world knows of this secret. For the sake of her mother, he exhibits patience. But one day, he rushes out of the house without telling his mother. Then he visits a magic show to display his talent for the first time, where the talents of the people are revealed. This show touched the peak that night. And his mother also views that show. Oscar's mother is helpless in this matter. Many people had seen him on TV, making him well known. He meets a man named David the next day. He is, in fact, an agent. He guarantees Oscar that he can support him in becoming well known. "We will arrange a crowd puller that will make you famous." He gives him a big house for his residence, taking his signature on a contract agreement. Oscar wanted to be famous. He puts on a big show and shows off his performance. Oscar becomes a well-known personality too soon. And afterward, he is named the man without gravity. Those people have enjoyed their work and earned a lot of money. But one day Oscar feels that his childhood dream to be a superhero is in fact not true. He has become just a puppet that is used by the people for their amusement. Sometimes he was called to a magic show and sometimes to a media event. He begins to dislike it with the passage of time. Although many books are written about him, and many magazines are printed, and documentaries are made showing the bad image of his mother and grandmother, and it is disliked by Oscar. Then there is the last show where he is dressed as an angel, which he hates. He says, "I am not an angel." He begins to say ill about people in the show who are getting angry. Then he says to his mother that he has decided to leave all these things. He tells his agent, "Enough. I don't want to be famous, and my work was until this time." He will not work anymore. His agent explains, "You cannot leave it as such." But Oscar is irritated by all these. He asks him to tell people that the man without gravity has passed away or flown in the air. He says goodbye to his mother because he wants to live a separate life. The death of the man without gravity will be revealed in the coming days. Many people talk differently about him. Oscar's mother starts living alone. And many journalists continue their visit to their house to take information about Oscar, but she never says anything to them. After many years, Oscar's mother also died. But Oscar was still alive. He was leading his life in a different way. He had a long beard and used to sit on a wheelchair in order to hide his secret from the world. He has changed his identity by taking a job in a hotel as a receptionist. Everyone was courteous to him. One day, he runs into his friend Agata. She recognizes him because of the pink bag, which is still with Oscar even today, which she had given him in childhood. And he remained on